Welcome to the HS Innkeepers podcast. We're glad you found your way here. Welcome to the Innkeepers podcast. We are a podcast for innkeepers covering Hearthstone fireside gatherings with insight and information we hope all of our fellow innkeepers find useful. I'm Avantes from Knoxville, Tennessee.
This is Rewt from Orlando, Florida.
And this is Illyri from Halifax in Canada.
Coming up here on episode number 35 of the Innkeepers podcast, we are going to talk about all things Gen Con that related to Hearthstone Innkeeping from this past weekend.
Absolutely, and don't forget, for all of your Hearthstone Innkeeper needs, check out the official Blizzard site, firesidegatherings.com, and also the community resource website, hsinnkeepers.com.
That's right, but before we get to that, we have a little reminder that Tavern Hero Qualifier Season 3 begins in just a couple of weeks, August 31st through October the 14th. So you will have a month and a half, basically, to run your Tavern Hero qualifiers, get your patrons qualified for Season 3. So don't forget, you can start scheduling those 10 days prior. So August 21st, you should be able to start scheduling Season 3 Tavern Hero qualifiers. Mark your calendars.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're Season 3 coming up already.
That's right. Also, if you've not done so, our Discord server was created to unite innkeepers around the globe with resources and support to run all kinds of amazing Hearthstone events. This is not an official Blizzard server. So for all official inquiries, please email firesidegatherings@blizzard.com. Innkeepers of all experience levels are welcomed to contribute to the discussion on the Discord server. Please read the rules before you start. So, just as a reminder, all members must treat each other with respect. Please keep all posts, avatars, and nicknames PG. Do your best. Please try not to spam the channels, and have fun. To join, go to bit.ly/HS Innkeepers.
Indeed. And so that moves us to the top share of the week. And that happens to be fellow co-host Rewt.
Happens to be me.
Yeah, and so I was actually lucky enough to kind of get an inside peek while you're making these. So why don't you explain about your just fantastic Innkeeper name tags that you
Innkeeper name tags. Yeah, so we took here's one. In fact, this one is your one.
My one?
Your one, yeah. You'll get here in about a month, I guess.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
So what we did
Wow.
is we grabbed we took some birch wood and I belong to Makerspace, as most of you guys know, and we laser cut out and laser etched out the names, our gamer tag names. And we use the Hearthstone chat bubble, and then we put a magnetic clip on the back of it, so it's not a pin clip. It is magnetic, so you're not going to put any kind of holes or anything in your shirt or whatever else you can wear it on. And then we put our gamer tags on there. A little bit of a light issue. There we go. So this is Illyri's. I don't know if it's backwards for you guys or not, but I did print it right. They're really cool. We got a lot of positive comments on it. I'm wearing mine. Avanti is wearing his. Here's another one for someone we all know, Amy. She knows it's coming too. So no surprise there. But what I did is I posted it up there in our marketplace channel, and it takes me a little bit of time to do these. Not because it's got to sit for a while because they are coated in resin, so they are laser etched and laser cut out of birch, and then coated in resins. That resin's got to set. If it doesn't set right, you can get little bubbles all over it. So yeah, those, if you go into which channel is it there? Help me out, because now I'm forgetting.
It is the Fireside Market, I believe.
Yeah, there you go, Fireside Market channel. Then you'll see the information I've put in there about these things. If you want one or more, just get a hold of me, send me a DM on the server, and I will take care of that for you. So just asking to recoup my costs and shipping on it. So I know we're all Innkeepers and we're all on a tight budget, so I am not looking to make these into a moneymaker. By the way, they are, I'm going to have to do this in little air quotes. There we go, air quotes. Uncle Jesse approved. So before I did these, because it is the chat bubble, we talked with Blizzard and I got the thumbs up from at least Uncle Jesse. So in fact, Uncle Jesse's got one. So it's all good. So if you want more information about that, just hit me up in the server. I've already got a order going in for the rest of the Hero Power show, so they're all going to be name tagged out. And I've also got a local fireside here in Orlando, Florida, the one over at the Cloak and Blasters. They're getting theirs done as well. So the more I have, that it just means less pieces of wood I have to cut. So it's easier to do one big run than it is like 3 little runs. So just hit me up, and we'll go from there.
And you know what? Like, as fellow innkeepers may know, you may find that you may be a lead innkeeper for your community, but most of us have a lot of help from other fellow innkeepers that it might not be their specific tavern account, but they help you run it. They're innkeepers in their own right. And something like that, a little something, could go a long way to just making them feel special. So I think something like that could be
Show
really
your
cool to
thanks.
share with
That's
your
right.
team. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and that
hero
is
power.
that's exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Avanti's did. He's given his team that. I printed name tags for my entire crew at Florida Fireside, and they got to debut them because we did get to do a Boomsday pre-release at my tavern.
Yeah.
When I wasn't there, and so they were all presented with theirs. And it's cool that way. It does, and also can identify someone very easily. If you've got a name tag, people are used to looking for people with name tags. This just makes it easy. People don't have to go, "Hey, you." They can look at your name tag and go, "Hey, Aolari."
Aolari?
Aolari.
Yeah.
And normally they'll just end up going, "Hey, you,"
Yeah. With the name tag.
and then they'll crook the finger and call you over and point down like
No.
at their spot.
No one's ever
Oh,
clicked their
don't
finger
say
at
that.
me. I'm actually a bit surprised now I think about it. No one's ever done that.
Yeah. Woo. We had that this weekend. We'll talk about that coming up.
Exciting stuff.
All right. So I think that brings
And-
us to our new
Our
Innkeeper
Innkeeper.
Spotlight.
Who is Moto? And Moto's got a really cool story here. So Moto is in the NA area in Los Angeles, California. It says, "Hey, Innkeepers, my name is Moto, and I first started hosting fireside gatherings on May 19th, the day after my birthday. We established our tavern the very next month later, and now we meet every 2 weeks. Thinks he has about 8 fireside gatherings underneath his belt. Last night's brought out record numbers at 16 attendees. Congratulations on that. He says, I'm a streamer and graphic designer. Hey, that's cool. So this is a hobby. It's helping him grow his business. Great to be here. So obviously, well met, Moto. Welcome to the group. But Avantis has a little bit more insight into how Moto came to be.
Yeah, so this past weekend, I got a private message on Facebook from Moto, and he says, "Hey, we have a mutual friend, and he said that if I reached out to you, that you might be able to help me get connected with some other innkeepers. And I understand you guys have a Facebook group." I'm like, "We do,
But
we
we
have a
also
Facebook
have-
group. However, if you really want to be in the know and be connected, let me tell you about this Discord server we have." And so I sent him the link, and as you can see, he joined the very same day. And here we are, Moto. Well met.
Well met, sir.
It's great to see a new innkeeper, bi-weekly, 16 attendees. Like, that's what you need for a Tavern Hero qualifier. So
Mm-hmm. That's exactly
that's
right.
incredible. Yeah. Really cool to see.
So, all right.
So, So our main. Oh wait, I skipped a beat. Never mind. I got too excited.
Yeah. So,
So
folks,
ju-
remember to post your intros and update your server nickname. That's going to include your location. And that is going to unlock all the resource channels for you. So if you are new on our Discord server, just post your intro and update your name. That'll unlock everything for you.
And on to our main topic, Gen Con. So when I found out you guys were kind of co-hosting Gen Con, the Blizzard Hearthstone booth with Blizzard, I was so excited for you guys because that is an amazing opportunity for an
Well,
innkeeper.
not just us. You can't
Of
forget,
course.
Ben Sampson or Sam Benson.
Yes.
Sam
was there,
Benson
too.
from Kansas City, our good
Yes.
friend.
The
Absolutely.
best dressed innkeeper.
You know what?
You can see
Yeah,
work for
I
that.
think-
He really is.
Yeah.
He does above and beyond.
Now I'm thinking about it, quite possibly, yeah. Yeah, so Sam, we've also known for years as a very talented innkeeper. So it's great to see talented innkeepers get recognized and getting involved with Blizzard to help host these events. So how did that happen for you guys? How did you guys get involved?
We lost a bet. Um,
Wait, what?
no, just kidding. It was one of those things. We talked about it last week. I'm sure our Avanti's approach was the same as mine. We just got a message from Jesse saying, "Hey, what are your plans this weekend? Do you have anything going on?" And I said, "No, what's up?" And then it was boom. Well, first it was, "I'll let you know," and then you sit around waiting for like a month. But
See, mine was different. Mine was, hey, what are you doing that week? This weekend of August the 2nd through the 6th, and I'm like, nothing. And he was like, would you like some plans? And I'm like, it depends. Does it involve hanging out with some of the coolest people in Hearthstone? And he was like,
he said no,
maybe,
but Root's gonna be there.
And I'm like, does it involve hanging out with cool people in California? And he was like, no. I'm like, oh, frowny face. And he was like,
because you were expecting something else.
I was
know
expecting
you-
something
yeah.
else. And then he was like, but we'll be in Indianapolis. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to Google and I'm like, Indianapolis, August 2nd through the 6th.
That's funny.
And I come back to him and I'm like, Gen Con? And
Gen
he's
Con?
like, shh. Oh, the power
That's
of
funny.
Google.
Yeah, the power of Google, indeed. So you guys got the invites from Blizzard. Did they give you any heads up about what you would be doing there or what they had planned at all?
So in our group, there were three of us. There's myself, there's Avantis, and Sam.
Mhm.
And Sam was elected head innkeeper. So you have to have someone who's in charge, someone to make the decisions, and someone where the buck's got to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
And I wanna
he
point out-
did host.
I want to point out that Rewt and I kind of came to a consensus agreement that Sam is just the amazing man for that job. He is so
Oh, yeah.
good at what he does.
He's
Yeah.
very, very good. He's very, he's super organized and super detail oriented. So it's fantastic to have him in that position. He's also very keen on the side events, and so we were able to construct our own side events and construct what we thought. Now, mind you, when we knew about this and we were told about this, and I signed our NDAs about this, we still didn't have enough information about what was going on. Like we knew a little bit. They told us a little bit about Boomsday, but not enough about Boomsday to really understand what Boomsday was.
Yeah.
And so we came up with this really cool idea, and it involved lab coats and theming and this and that. And it was like really cool. And when I say we, it was Sam. And we're like, and Avanti's. In fact, I think Avanti's had his like in his Amazon cart if he didn't already purchase it. And we had all this stuff lined up, and then we submitted it to Blizzard, and they went, no, that's not what we're thinking. That's not where we want to go with this. And we're like, oh, all right. And then they released that video, and that video is it like
In a lab, wearing lab
Yeah.
coats.
wearing lab coats doing exactly the stuff that we had pitched to them, and they said they weren't going to do that. So
Well, I think if they're doing Boomsday, I don't know.
no,
I don't think they
it was-
stole the idea.
No, they did. There's no way he stole the idea.
No.
But you guys
because
were
of the
right on the
production
money
time.
with it, for sure.
Yeah, we were. But as it turns out, so the Gen Con area, we had a huge, and we'll share some pictures if you haven't seen them already. But there's a large merchandise area there as well, and we were not a Boomsday pre-release area. The infrastructure and the setup that went into that was not, you just couldn't do it at Gen Con. For myself here in Orlando, it took me about 5 trips out to my venue to get everything situated, because they're doing new things, which we'll talk about next week once we get a little bit of a thumbs up from Blizzard on this one. But they're doing some new things in the back end. And there was no way, unless we had boots on the ground, to get exactly what we needed in enough time at Gen Con for us to do a Boomsday pre-release. Plus, they didn't know what they're getting into in Gen Con. This is the first time they've been back there since the WoW TCG days.
Wow.
Yeah. So back then they had a presence at Gen Con. When the TCG went away, they kind of withdrew. Now they got an invite to come back with Hearthstone, and they were pleasantly surprised with the amount of attendance we got. But they really didn't know, so it was a safe bet not to have the Boomsday release there. Although that was a very, very common question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet. Like, it was right along that weekend where other events were happening with that. So what was your attendance like? Was it a 3-day event? Was it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, wow. So what was the attendance like in your area every day?
So we opened the booth every morning at 9 a.m. Oh, well, no, at 10 a.m. We got there about 9:30, and
oh, that's a luxury cool time.
yeah, we had to set up.
That is.
Yeah, once we got there, we had an area sectioned off for demoing Hearthstone. So people who had never played, or people who wanted to learn a little more, or people who just wanted to sit down and play a game. We had an area with 8 laptops, and these were screaming gaming laptops.
Oh, yeah.
So we would have to get in every morning, set up the laptops. They had run hardline internet connections for those, so we could plug them in and go. And then once those were set up, Jesse would set up the tavern. Because while we weren't a, quote, fireside gathering, we did have the tavern available for people who just wanted to come up, play some games, or get the Fireside Friends card back, or unlock Nimsy.
Cool. Were the did the laptops have just open accounts people could come play on?
Not at all. They were the god accounts, as they call them. So they
All
had
gold.
everything,
Yes.
all cards up to Witchwood, all golden.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. It's nice to see that, because it's encouraging for people to be able to sit down and actually play with things and not, kind of feel like they have to go through the trials to get through the Innkeeper and all that.
Funny story about that. I'm helping a new player on Friday afternoon, and it's a young girl. I'm kind of helping walk her through the steps of a turn and, giving her an idea of the basics. And I see out of the corner of my eye, this guy kind of walked behind me, and he looks over and he goes, "Oh, teaching them to play on fully gold accounts. Just hook them in now, huh?"
Oh, my.
But yeah, no, it was a good time, and a lot of, So we tried to do the numbers, and we were estimating the average game length was about 15 minutes from the time they sat down.
Okay.
So 4 games an hour times 10 hours a day times 4 machines, or 4 setups, because they were paired off
160?
against each other. So it's about 160 games a day were played on those machines times 3 days.
4.
Oh yeah, 4 days.
Wow.
Because I didn't get in until late Thursday because of all the travel issues.
Yeah, you had some travel issues. Yeah, I was the first one in, and they were already going when I got there. So.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Were there other side events going on besides the drop in and play?
Oh my goodness, we had some amazing side events. I don't remember them all, so between Vontaze and I, we might. But our dear friend Sam Benson created some really cool table pop-ups that went into the plastic inserts and sat on the table, full color, full beautiful He worked with Blizzard artists to create
Wow,
the
really?
artwork on these, and they were just
Whoa.
Shout out to
phenomenal.
Jacqueline who helped him with those.
Yes,
She was
they
the
are.
artist. She was the digital artist, and she did a fantastic job.
Oh, they are
That's really
so
cool.
good. Yeah, and so see if I can remember some side events. One of them was, and this was really funny. Before we get into them, it was interesting to be able to provide not just a Hearthstone experience at Gen Con, but also a fireside experience at Gen Con. And so one of the ways we were providing a fireside experience was telling people that at firesides, because a lot of people never attended firesides before, we tell them that, hey, there are social events that we want people to do, to engage, to interact. And that's what these side events, that were all designed to be social. One of them was to find somebody that had your same
Astrological sign.
astrological sign. Thank you. Another one was there were a couple that were theory questions like, hey, what card would you use to defeat Deathwing? And
Yeah,
there was,
Deathwing.
So for more information on that, we had a pre-set up. So it's like you're playing a paladin against a mage. You have nothing on the board, nothing in your library, and one card in your hand. What is that one card you would use to defeat Deathwing in this situation?
I stick with Deathwing.
That would work.
Right?
But yeah, so, and then we had one that was find another patron and play charades to act out your favorite Hearthstone card.
Oh, interesting.
And then we had one that was a warrior specific class that was, name the 4 warrior class mechs that were available pre-Boomsday. The warrior class specific mechs.
Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah. Now, these were all for fun.
I'm
so
trying to think.
we totally all of these were totally open book. We let people look in the client or Google.
Yeah.
We didn't expect them to know everything right off the top of their heads. And it allowed them to, kind of get in the game, and they would, go over to their little groups and put their heads together and try to come up with the list. And we awarded these really neat
The pins!
Gen Con specific
Boombot
pins
right?
for
I was
anyone
so jealous
who was
when
able
I saw
to complete.
That. Wow, those are really, really cool.
Yeah,
Oh, you've got one. They're so cute. Like, I love Rewt when he 3D prints his little Boombot. So when I saw that pin, I was like, oh
guys?
My gosh. You gonna show?
So,
Yeah, they're so cute. I love. They're just waiting to blow up.
So a fun part is, remember I said we were recreating a lot of what they're going to get at a fireside. I brought about 100 of these little bad boys with me. I printed about 100.
Really?
I certainly did.
Wow.
And we handed these out randomly to people, just for being cool and being there and doing stuff.
That's so nice of you
because
guys.
We really wanted to. One of the important things that Blizzard stressed to us multiple times is that they wanted to make sure that when people, now they've been to Gen Con, this is the first time they've ever heard of a fireside gathering. What is their expectation at that point in time for their next fireside gathering?
Yeah, what do they walk away with? What's that feeling?
Right, and if they walk away with my gosh, I was in a Blizzard booth, there was loud music, there was all this stuff going on, there was theming, there were 8 laptops set up to play games on, there's all this stuff, and then they go to the local tavern, and it's a guy hanging out going, hey, you want to play some Hearthstone? It's a different feeling for them. So we wanted to make sure that they understood that, hey, when you go to a regular tavern, you're going to get stuff like this. You're going to get these social events. You're going to get these cool little knickknacks that the Innkeeper has come up with maybe. And we wanted to make sure that they understood that, yeah, this is totally cool, but don't be blown away by the grandiose that this Blizzard booth is. Because it's not going to be that when you get to your fireside.
Right.
So that was a message that we had to convey very delicately, because you can't say, like, hey, we're overdoing it because we're Blizzard here.
Yeah.
But you have to say, hey, when you go to your next fireside, remember your Innkeeper is just a normal non-Blizzard employee with a non-Blizzard budget doing non-Blizzard things to make this happen.
Well, it sounds like those little one-on-one things, getting people to interact, that is very fireside, no matter what little activity that you're doing. So kudos to that, and kudos to Sam for all the effort that went into that. So I'm curious, so to each of you, what was your biggest challenge across the whole weekend? So Rewt, I'll ask you first.
My biggest challenge across the entire weekend, I would have to say, was dealing with. We had major patches that week. We had a 1.5 gig patch and then a 400 meg patch right after that. And we would have people who would come into a conference who would want to join us in our fireside. And the first question you have to ask is, have you patched this week? And they say no. And you say, hey, yeah, here you go. You have to say, well, folks, tell you what, we're here all weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow, because you're going to be So Verizon, shout out to them. They had a screaming convention Wi-Fi there. Amazing speeds. But if you are not on Verizon, you're going to spend your entire day fighting with folks in order to, try to download your patch. And some people would do it. They'd be like, okay, I'll be back. And you see them in a couple hours. Like, I'm patched. My phone is on fire, but I'm patched.
I mean, it was pure dedication to the game, and they knew what they wanted to do. They would go find a place. I think I heard somebody telling somebody else, was like, yeah, if you just go down this street and turn right and go down a block, there's a cafe with a great Wi-Fi where you could update. And...
Oh my!
And I'll follow that up by one other little. This had nothing to do with it. Was just the way things were. We came to find out while we're dealing with folks on our conversation with them. One of the very first questions I would ask them is, "Who is your provider?" Like who's your phone service given to you by? And they're like, "Okay, it's this person, it's this person." And like I said, if it was Verizon, I'll name names here because there's no one paying me for nothing here. So Verizon, no problem, have a seat. Then when it came to something like T-Mobile, who I have, I'm like, sit over there on the left side, don't sit on the right side table so you won't get any signal. AT&T, I would say, folks, this is the God's honest truth. I'm not trying to run you out of our booth. You're going to go out in the hallway and join our fireside gathering, because Jesse, being the smartest dude that he is, and I'm not just saying that because I think he might be listening, but he walked a literal mile around the convention center, picking up all the access points when he was setting up the fireside.
Yeah, so to expand on that, for innkeepers who have unpacked a fireside before, you know what it's like when it's like, add additional APs. Okay, I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to walk over there. Jesse every day would walk what felt like half of that convention center, trying to pick up as many access points as he could so that we could provide the best possible experience to the players and attendees who were coming.
And as it turned out, with AT&T, their cell phone coverage where we were, their data coverage where we were, just in that corner wasn't there. And you would tell them, hey, we were, by the way, it wasn't like they had to walk a long way we were at one booth, and then it was like a couple tables, and then was a door. It was not a huge deal to go out into the hallway. And you would tell them, please go out in the hallway. You can get on there. You can get an MC. If you need any help, come get me. I'll walk you out there, and I'll walk you through it out there in the hallway too. That doesn't matter.
I went out to that hallway multiple times during the
weekend. I did. Get just to walk someone through, getting a Ninja out there, and it was bizarre. But that's how it worked, and that would be it wasn't anybody's. That was just a frustration, but it was nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
What about you, Avantis? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deliri.
Well, sorry, I was gonna say, I think that kind of speaks to your dedications, both of you, and Jesse's, that as an innkeeper, if you are finding something like that happening, it's not just, hey, I can't help you, I got to focus on this. It's paying attention to what people are saying, because people will come and tell you, or you can overhear people saying, oh, I got signal over here, or something like that. So I think it's just, I don't expect anything less from you guys to say that you walked people a minute walk away just to help them unlock the special exclusive. So it warms my heart, but I'm not surprised that you guys do that kind of thing.
By Sunday, we had a running joke that we were there all weekend for Nimsies and Pinsies.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. That's funny.
But we had a blast. So probably my favorite part of the weekend.
Oh no! You gotta
Challenge.
do your
Oh,
challenge.
My biggest challenge of the weekend. I was ill prepared going in for what ended up being some incredibly long days on my feet. And Rewt told me in advance, bring an extra pair of shoes.
Oh yeah.
Guess who ignored that bit of advice?
One day, people will learn to listen to me. One day, I am one of. We should do this, unless it's ageism. But I believe I'm one of the oldest innkeepers that we have. According to Jesse, I am the oldest one. But I think he just calls me old just to call me old. But listen to Papa Rewt.
Papa Rewt.
He is wise with experience, years and years of experience. Shoes, and not only just shoes, inserts, because you can bring like 3 pairs of shoes for a 6-day event, and you can take your insoles in and out, and you end up with 6 different levels of comfort for your feet.
There you go.
Listen to Papa Rewt.
So
Papa
yeah,
Rewt.
no, just the whole being because, and that's the thing is these types of events.
You're on like the whole time.
When you are there solely to assist and help the players, you are going to be on your feet nonstop for the majority of the day, and it's such a rewarding and good feeling that you can be there to assist people and help them get what they want, that a lot of times you'll forget how bad your feet hurt. But the minute you stop helping somebody, it's like, oh God, I need to sit down before I fall down.
Yeah. It was nice that we were able to rotate a little bit though, and sit down at the benches with our patrons if there was a bench spot available, sit down a little bit, and or just get away for a little bit to go to the back room and sit down if there was a chair available, and then come back out. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, it sounds like you guys just had such a really great time. My next question. Tell me about your standout patron. What's the patron that you remember the most and why? So Avantes, I'll go to you this time first.
All right. So there was a kid.
What Fritz would say, "Oh, you took mine."
There was a kid who came to the booth.
It's always the kid.
And he really, really, really wanted to play the demo. And so we had a queue for the demo line because so many people wanted to do it. We could only do 8 at a time. And so he finally gets up there ready to play, and there's no opponent. Everybody else in line is paired with who they want to play against. So I sit down to play against him. I'm like, I'll play you. Don't worry. We'll have fun, and I'll help you go through it. And so, I kind of did what we learned to do at the summit last year is I engaged him. I'm like, hey, I'm Patrick. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? How long have you been playing Hearthstone? What's your favorite class? Got the kid talking. He was a little shy at first, and he was playing Priest, and I was playing Warrior. Now, on the demo machines, we had the recipe decks for each class.
Okay.
So he was playing Priest, I was playing Quest Warrior, and we get in there and we start playing, and everything went bad for him, and my deck was just clicking, everything was on curve. I was literally trying to throw the game and couldn't.
Oh, wow.
Every time I would use my Ragnaros hero power, it would go face, and he was just he would throw his hands up and go, RNG, what? But he was such a good sport, and he got up, after the game, he shook my hand, he was super happy to be there.
Wow.
He left, came back, got in the queue again, came through. We must have seen him a dozen times over the course of the weekend.
Really?
And, you know, he was so passionate and excited about Hearthstone being there. It was
Wow.
such a great experience.
That is a great experience. It's great to see that young kids still are just getting into the game and, seeing the fun that even if they're losing, there's still fun to be had, which I think that's, to me, a big part of why firesides have that magic to it. Because even if RNGesus is against you, because some like other people are there and are seeing your pain and empathize with it, it creates a different gameplay experience. Root, who was your second most memorable patron?
Well, this is also easy, and I know Patrick will hopefully will remember this family, but it was a family. It was a dad and his son and his daughter. And
Aww.
the dad, for the first 3 days, was dressed up as a pirate of some kind. And on the third day, he was in plain clothes. And he had a beard, and he did a really good pirate. And his kids, I would say 7 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
And first time the kids had ever played Hearthstone, he walked in with them, and he was a dad that was so engaged with his kids. They'd kind of heard about Hearthstone a little bit. He'd never played, but man, he was down there. He's like, I'm going to play with our kids. And he played with them. Now, one of the things that we should stress we haven't talked about here is that Blizzard employees who were there in our tavern, if you were a new player who had never played before, they were working with you over your shoulder, explaining what to do, explaining how to do it,
Oh,
giving
wow.
you tips. One of the guys was amazing. His name is Kenny, and he was amazing in finding a commonality of what someone had played before. Like if they played Magic the Gathering, he was relating Hearthstone in Magic terms to them. If they played some other CCG or trading card game, he was explaining to it in those terms. And I was very impressed with that he was doing that. Very cool that he did that. But this dad never played Hearthstone before. Kids had barely played, comes in, gets engaged with them. They came back to our booth. I want to say I saw them a dozen times. And on the second day, he comes up to me. The kids are there in line. I'm like, seeing him again. I'm going to go up, shake his hand, welcome back, all that kind of stuff. And he goes, all right, dude. We go home last night to the hotel. I got Hearthstone on like both their phones now and my phone. He goes, I got them through the Innkeeper. We're through the opening quests. So then I'm like, all right, next step, let's get you in the Fireside Gathering. We got him Nimsy. And then
wow.
next day he comes back to me. See him again. He's like, all right, we're doing all this stuff. He goes, I didn't realize it's a free game, but these cards, these packs, they cost money. I have to buy them. And I was able to explain to him about getting gold, buying them with gold, using all the things, all the little tips and tricks we've talked about here on the Innkeepers podcast about saving money when it comes to buying card packs, using Amazon coins, using the Google Opinion rewards, using all these little tips and tricks. And he was just like, all right, I get that. At that point in time, and I don't know who it was, but one of our fellow either Innkeepers or Blizz employees hands me 3 cards that are card pack cards.
Oh, really?
And so I was able to go, and there's one other way you can get card packs, and I handed him those things. But that guy, and then that was a really cool moment there.
Yeah.
But he had been there all along. Like I said, I must have seen that family a dozen times. And they were really, really cool. Just like to see a father engaged with his kids was pretty cool. And the dude was limber. Did you see him do the splits? The dude could do the splits.
Wait, what? How did that come up?
Because he was at one point in time. I looked over and he was in his pirate outfit and he just did his splits. I was like, that was crazy. Okay, that happened.
Wow.
So
wow, honestly, I love it when families come to my firesides. I had a dad come at the last one with his 2 little kids. They didn't get anything in the raffle, but I had a couple of the Keep It Deadly boxes left.
Yeah.
So before I finished all the raffle giveaways, I went over and gave them each one, and he didn't pick up on it right away. But as he left, he was like, "Oh, like, did you take it from I have like a kind of treasure chest?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the thank you that he gave me, just that thank, it was like it's like his kids got to have like this really cool little moment, and he was so grateful for that. But I'm grateful for him to bring them because he's creating those memories with his kids. It's a really great environment to do that because it really is just about having fun, even when RNGesus wants to knock you down. There's a lot of fun to be had. So it's really
Absolutely.
heartwarming to hear that kind of story. All right, last question.
Okay.
Rewt,
Yes.
favorite moment of the weekend, or most, memorable moment for you as an innkeeper?
I can't talk about the most memorable one. The NDA, I think, still covers that. What happens at Gen Con stays at Gen Con? No. I think what it is, and I don't want to sound cliche about this, but there was some level of planning that went into this event that I know Jesse got some heat for, but as soon as Gen Con started happening, people went, Jesse, you were right. And I want to start with, I know he got heat for 3 Innkeepers, but we needed 3 Innkeepers. We were able to rotate, and it was just seamless. Nobody had to know. Nobody had to ask, like, hey, do I need this cover? Do I need to be here? What do I need to do? Was never asked. We all rotated. It was just a system that worked. You knew nobody was asking, like, oh, hey, where's, I haven't seen this person in a while. Where are they?
Yeah.
If you had to take a break and go to lunch, boom, we had a mechanism to tell somebody that, and it flowed. And I'm not trying to brown nose anything here, but it was just the level of planning that went into it made that thing work seamlessly. And that's what I really like. I like systems, and the system worked. So
Yeah.
I really like that. Really worked for me.
Awesome. So Avantes, what was your big memorable moment, big takeaway from Gen Con and Hearthstone?
This right here. So, if you're not familiar, this is the Innkeeper guest book.
Hell yeah.
Oh, is that from the event?
This is
Yeah,
the You're the Mammoth guest book. So, I threw mine in my bag the day I was leaving for Gen Con. I was like, just in case, I don't know if we'll even need it or use it, but I want to take it. And I got like the first 20 pages of my book have been filled out and signed. I don't know if you guys, if it'll zoom in or not, focus, but people just came up to the booth. They signed their names. They left their battle tags. One guy wrote, "Official Horde invite, barbecue at Teldrassil." Another one said,
"Oh my God, that's funny.
Sylvanas did nothing wrong. But my favorites from the entire weekend had to be the ones that said, let me find them here. There's, like I said, a lot of pages. It says, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Blizzard was visiting my favorite board game convention. Well played.
Aww.
And then you've got another one that says, thank you for coming to Gen Con. And it was just the love and outpouring from the players in this community. We talk all the time about the Hearthstone community and how it is like nothing else in gaming. And this book shows that. I mean, it just the outpouring of love for us being there and the Blizzard booth being there at their board game convention just rocked my world.
Wow. That really is an incredible memento to have. Yeah, and it not to take away from it, but it's almost like it's just a snippet of the Hearthstone community. And to actually have a piece of that you can take home and look back on, that's really incredible. It truly is. Wow. I gotta come to Gen Con next time. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I'm already trying to figure out, next year if I can go back as an attendee and just come and hang out and check out the booths and check out the other vendors and just shop and hang out and play games. And they call it the best 4 days in gaming.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, we have chat says something I was cool and worth noting. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we talked about a lot of people who were interested in
Wow.
becoming innkeepers. Thank you, Tugnuts. So a lot of times people come up and it was very cool because they would come up and go like, you would ask them, "Hey, you ever been to a fireside?" And they go, "No, there aren't any firesides in my area, so I've never been to one." And we'd say, "Well, you know the best way to make sure you go to a fireside?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Start one yourself."
Yeah.
And people, a lot of them had no idea about what it would take and what the steps to do to become an actual innkeeper. And so we were able to, tell these people. Tugnut said he dealt with 41 people. I easily had a dozen. If I wasn't sending them his way, I was helping him out, or he and I helped a couple of people out together. So it was great to watch the community be able to grow. And again, it was really, we had to stress to them that your tavern doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be this grandiose, over the top. We were the biggest booth in our area, by the way. We should preface this. You could see us from anywhere in that hall. We
Oh,
were
wow.
in the corner. Nobody else had a tall booth. We had a giant blizzard wall with a giant TV on the top of it, or screen. So we stuck out. And
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that people understood that when you do your tavern, it can be anywhere as long as it's got decent Wi-Fi and some power and people can sit down and have a good time and play Hearthstone. It does not have to be this over the top. I mean, we looked cool. We were also the only booth that had padded carpeting, and it was so nice to have padded carpeting. People would walk in and they were like, "Oh," and they would take their shoes off. They're
Oh.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh, my feet, this feels so good." And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, home is where the hearth is.
That's
Oh, look at
exactly
that.
right.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys have any final comments on the weekend that you want to share with people?
I do. And this is old man Rewt advice. So you take it, please. I'm going to post a link to the picture in there. It's a picture from Discord. I also put it in our chat channel in the Discord server. And I have some proof on this one. I finally have social proof that I'm not just a madman. When I go to cons, any con, whether it be BlizzCon, GenCon, doesn't matter what con, before I start going to the con, and every day of the con, and then probably a couple days after the con, I take in the morning and sometimes at night, I mix airborne, and this is just a generic version of the picture of it, and emergency. I mix those together. Same flavor helps. I use orange because I think it tastes good. So I take the emergency and the airborne, put them in a cup, a little bit of water in there, let it sit for a couple minutes so it all dissolves, take a shot of that. Every morning, use, and sometimes at night, maybe not, but Avanti's had that same privilege this weekend. I had that same privilege this weekend. Mr. Sam Benson did not have that same privilege until he got sick. Yes. You shake hands.
No.
You shake hands with people all day long. You are in close
Yeah.
proximity to people all day long. And I'm not saying that people come to Gen Con or any other con and they don't clean or bathe or anything else. They just have different germs on them from their hometown that our bodies aren't used to.
Oh yeah.
And so to give your body that boost will help you out incredibly. So, in fact, one of the couple of the last days I was passing out some of the stuff at our morning breakfast as well. So
What a bro.
that's me.
Innkeeper way.
Yeah, I'm the old guy taking care. That's because I don't want to get sick. I don't want everybody else around me sick of me. If they're sick, I got to do more work. What are you talking about? I'm just looking out for myself.
Oh my. How about you, Avantis? Any final words on Gen Con?
It was just an amazing experience to be able to interact with so many people on such a scale. It's what, as an innkeeper, we strive to make those connections with people and talk about the game we love, and just to have the opportunity to meet and greet and talk and play with literally thousands of people in a 3 to 4 day period is just mind-blowing and rewarding and fulfilling all at the same time. And it's a memory I will have for as long as I live.
Oh, that's so... My heart! Wow. I was thrilled to see you guys were working it, and it thrills me even more to see that you guys got so much from it and were able to give so much through the event. And I'm sure that Blizzard is very proud of you guys and Sam, and all the work that you did, Jesse. So thank you guys for being an amazing Innkeeper representative. 41 people interested in becoming Innkeepers. That doesn't happen if you're running just a bad fireside. You're putting out there the heart of it. So that's obviously shown. So congrats to you guys.
Thank you.
So I guess we're gonna wrap up the show, recapping episode 35 of the Innkeepers podcast. We basically talked about GenCon and Hearthstone and the booth there, and my fabulous co-hosts and all the amazing work they did there with Sam Benson and Jesse. Rewt, if people are going to try and find you on social media, where can they find you?
Well, they can head on over to the Twitters right now. That is at Hearthcast Rewt. I do a show. We're a little behind on getting stuff published on that, but we're trying to get caught up. But a little show called Hearthcast. We've been doing it about 9 years now. And it's a lot of fun. We cover a lot of different Blizzard topics on there. So as I said, we're trying to get caught up. We'll be caught up here soon. And then you can just follow me on the Twitters. Mr. Avantes, where can people find you?
You can follow me at AvantesHS on Twitter, or every Wednesday night you can find me on Twitch doing Hero Power, which is a Hearthstone podcast, because why talk about Hearthstone one night a week when you can do it 2 nights a week?
Right.
So, O'Leary, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at O'Leary, or Instagram, aka.O'Leary. Yeah, that's pretty much it. When I don't have a fan in my face and I've got to pull hair out of it all the time. I feel like that's all I've been doing this whole show, is like one little hair would be up, but I can't not have a fan. It is so hot here. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but we've had 2 solid weeks of a lot of heat and humidity, which for us isn't common. So the fan is good. All right, so to further wrap up, if you are not already in the Innkeeper Discord, definitely get in there. Whether you are a new Innkeeper or you've been doing it a little while, you want to get some more resources, connect to the community, go to bit.ly/HS Innkeepers. That'll take you right there. hsinnkeepers.com is a brilliant website full of resources by Innkeepers for Innkeepers. And of course, check out resources.firesidegatherings.com for Blizzard resources as well. So as we close the show, we want to thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again next time.
Thanks for listening to the
Cue
HS
music.
Innkeepers podcast. For legendary resources and more, go to hsinnkeepers.com.